英語聞き流し10分間、名作リスニング、英語テキストと MP3 ダウンロード、その他の物語は、ホームページよりご利用いただけます。88thpp.com 88thpp.com
I wrote about a huge mistake I made for my future at the drama club on. After 2.5 years of training and backstage work in the drama club at junior high, I was close to getting a role in a school play. Casting was done strictly by seniority, not by acting skill. A leading role automatically went to the club captain, and the higher grade at school a member was in, the better role she got. The club was a joint activity of the high school and the junior high. I was already in the 9th grade, and many senior members at high school either graduated or quit. As a result, I rose to a candidate for the last bit part that had only 2 lines. The part was normally to go to Miss Fujiwara, who was a freshman at high school and so 1 year senior to me. But since she joined the club at the same time as I did and our careers were equal, the bit part came down to either her or me. It was put to a vote. Everyone knew my acting skill was much better than hers, and the choice was actually between seniority and skill. All members, including she and I, sat with a face hiding in the arms on the desk and eyes closed. The club captain stood in front of the blackboard on which our names were written. When she read out a name, we raised a hand for the name of our choice, and she counted the vote. Although I craved the role, I raised my hand when Miss Fujiwara's name was called out for 2 reasons. While we wouldn't know who voted whom, the club captain would know. I wanted her to recognize how much I respected seniority, and I was thus a good member. And also, I had a trauma that my mother never allowed to vote someone else but myself, and people laughed at me when I got 1 vote by myself in every election at elementary school. The result was exactly tied. The captain declared the second vote, which meant the part would be mine if I voted for myself this time. Switching a vote seemed so shameless, though. I had never been in a tight corner like that. I raised my trembling hand for Miss Fujiwara. I heard one of the names being erased on the blackboard, and when I opened my eyes, I saw my name gone. Miss Fujiwara got the role. Right away, an enormous feeling of regret came over me. I went home shivering, realizing I had made a huge, irretrievable mistake. And it really was. From then on, she was acknowledged officially senior to me, and I was always left 1 step behind her. 1 year after that, she got a leading role and I was her sidekick. 2 years later, she became a club captain. If I had voted for myself, I would have been a captain. Instead, I quit. I couldn't stand to be a sidekick of her bad acting and her way of managing the club. I didn't quit for any hardship all those years, but I did for my mistake that still makes my heart throb today.
Audiobook, Japanese Dream by Hidemi Woods, on sale at online stores or apps. Apple, Audible, Google Play, Nook Audiobooks, 43 available distributors in total.
I don't get along with people generally, and it had been so back in kindergarten already. I hated everything there. Other kids seemed too stupid and childish to me. The activities in the class were relentlessly silly. The teachers treated us like a bunch of fools. But seeing other kids do, I always thought they were actually a bunch of fools. I wish they grew up and got smarter fast. Soon after I got into kindergarten, going there every day became a torture to me. Sleeplessness on weekdays was my norm. I got fed up with the whole stupidities there and stopped talking with anybody. Some kids even believed that I was mute. They played outside at recess, but I had never joined them. I spent the recess alone in the classroom, rounding the clay into balls and rolling it into strings. I didn't make them to form something by them. Balls and strings were the finished products. When I used up the whole chunk of my clay, I reversed the balls and strings to a wad and started making them all over again. I spent 2 years just doing that every day while I was disgusted by other kids playing, jumping, and screaming outside childishly.
Audiobook, Japanese Dream by Hidemi Woods on sale at online stores or apps. Apple, Audible, Google Play, Nook Audiobooks, 43 available distributors in total.
Wrote about my first ever role I finally got at the drama club. At long last, I got my first role in a school play at the drama club when I was a freshman in high school. It took me 3 years to get it as a member of the club. Since many senior members had quit for some reason and I had been in a higher position by then for casting that had the seniority system, my role was quite big. It was a villain in a Japanese period piece, who tormented her pretty stepdaughter and killed her. I was the evil stepmother of a heroine, which was played by the same Miss Fujiwara who had taken a role away from me by 1 vote in the last play. My mistake of not voting for myself made her 1 step senior to me and yielded bigger consequences as time went on. Now she was a heroine and I was a wicked old woman. Nonetheless, I was absorbed in interpretation and rehearsals now that I got what I had been craving for 3 years. I tried to think and live like an evil person for the interpretation every day. Acting evil was easy for me. I'm used to picking on my little sister, and besides, an object of my bullying was Miss Fujiwara. Hatred toward her was naturally transfused into my acting and I blew steam off by yelling at her, hitting her and killing her on the stage in every rehearsal. The retired senior members of the club sometimes came to observe rehearsals. My character went mad in the end of the play and it was told by the narration. They admired my acting and suggested adding the scene for me instead of the narration. I was so honored and acted the madness intensely when they wanted me to try. While I was satisfied with my acting, the scene was cut and back to the narration. Probably I overacted it and was too distasteful to watch.
Audiobook, Japanese Dream by Hidemi Woods on sale at online stores or apps. Apple, Audible, Google Play, Nook Audiobooks, 43 available distributors in total.
I spent 2 years in kindergarten playing alone. The first year was quite peaceful because no one, including my teacher, cared that I didn't play nor talk with anybody. But in the second year, the peace was broken by the teacher who took charge of my class. She did care and worried about my withdrawn attitude. One day, she suggested me to play with her outside at recess. She held my hand and took me outside. The biggest attraction was a trampoline at the playground. Kids would wait in line for their turn at recess. My teacher joined the line with me, saying to other kids, "Let's play with Hidemi. Make friends with her." They looked at me dubiously but reluctantly agreed because it was their teacher who told them to do. While I was waiting in line, I got more and more unbearable to be among others, standing so close to them. I observed the trampoline too, and it seemed impossible for me to reach the center of it by avoiding fall through gaps between the round frame and the mat. I began to search the way to escape from this deadlock, but my hand was tightly held by my teacher's. As my turn became imminent, I felt desperate. Then, the teacher said to me, "Your turn is next. Now that you have this many friends, you can play without me, can't you?" And saying to other kids, "Be nice to Hidemi." She returned inside. All at once, I ran away from the kids and the trampoline. I ran to the far edge of the playground and stood there. Kids were playing as if nothing had happened. I secured the enough distance from others and felt safe. Ironically, nothing has changed since then, as I'm still distant from the society.
Audiobook, Japanese Dream by Hidemi Woods on sale at online stores or apps. Apple, Audible, Google Play, Nook Audiobooks, 43 available distributors in total.
英語聞き流し10分間、名作リスニング。英語テキストと MP3 ダウンロード、その他の物語は、ホームページよりご利用いただけます。88thpp.com 88thpp.com